What is it in your life that you find of most value? Is it something that you own? Is it a value that you hold that directs your life? Or is it something that you believe about who you are, your own identity? In the parable of the pearl of great price, we are invited to explore what we value in life and the values that God holds as well.
Have you ever made a strange trade? Maybe it was on the playground as a kid. You'd gotten Beanie Babies for Christmas, you had one to spare. You saw a kid who'd gotten a conch shell at the beach and it looked really cool. Why not just trade one? You got home and your parents thought you were crazy. Little did you know that they had spent hours and lots of money trying to secure that Beanie Baby for you. It was a strange trade. Or maybe you've wrestled with the story in Genesis. Do you remember when Esau traded his brother Jacob a bowl of soup for his birthright? It's a crazy trade. It went against all societal conventions. And yeah, but people have said maybe Esau was just hangry. But I wonder if he was exhausted from societal expectations and family legacies. Maybe he needed to be his own person for a while. There's a strange trade happening here in the book of Matthew, chapter 13. It's a story, the parable of the pearl of great price. Listen to Matthew's account of this parable. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a man, it's like a merchant in search of fine pearls. On finding one pearl of great value, he went, sold everything that he had, and bought the pearl. This is the word of the Lord, and it certainly is a strange trade. Theologian Alice McKenzie said that every parable is strange. In fact, she tries to describe parables as always having an element of the realistic and an element of something just strange. She was talking about this one day in an adult Sunday school class, and a woman named Alma raised her hand, and she said, "I'm Alma, and this is my husband, Ken. I'm realistic, but he sure is strange." Everybody laughed, but Alice McKenzie got it. She knew the parables were realistic. They relate to ordinary life in Palestine. People could understand, usually, the imagery. But there's always just something a little bit off, a little bit strange in each one. There's a couple of strange things going on here. First, there's a double identifier of the man. He's not just a man and he's not just a merchant. He's a man, a merchant, who goes to buy the fine pearl. Why this double identifier? Does he need that doubled value in his life? Maybe, just maybe, there's room to strip one of those away. It's also strange that he's speaking of pearls. Pearls in Hebrew are not mentioned in the Old Testament, maybe because it was a non-kosher creature, the oyster. Even in the book of Revelation, pearls are looked down upon. People are scorned for accessorizing with pearls and too much value, not having given some of that up for God's kingdom. What else is strange is how lopsided this trade becomes. Really? Everything the man owned for this pearl? Can you imagine? Even Marie Kondo, the lifestyle expert, would think you've streamlined just a little bit too much, sir. Trades are strange because the intrinsic value doesn't match the external value we place on things. There's a shift in values happening here. Door number one, everything the man's own, everything he's acquired and bought and traded and sold and gathered up in his life. For door number two, a pearl, his parents would think he's crazy. Everything has changed, his net value, his net worth, but even more so, his identity. He's no longer a merchant. Now he's just a man. Can you imagine how vulnerable and exposed he might feel? Maybe not unlike that grain of sand in the oyster shell. Unprotected from the elements. Nothing gathered around him to protect him from the storm. I just really wonder about how humbling that would be for the man in this story. and perhaps for us. Maybe that's where the pearl begins to make sense. As when that man takes such a great risk and gives up everything, he then has to trust on God's embrace, God's provision and care in his life, God circling around him again and again like the nacre in the oyster over the grain of sand, gathering up time and pressure to become something beautiful and wonderful, a pearl of great price. I met a guy on a mission trip to Nashville years ago, and he had acquired as a young adult, maybe 28 or so, quite a stash of baseball cards. Can you imagine all those cards? They had great value. He talked to his parents about selling them, and they said, go ahead. They thought he might get a college education or invest, put it in a retirement fund. But when he told his parents he wanted to buy a field, they thought he was crazy. But this guy had a kingdom vision. He had an idea for a pearl of great price in his mind. He wanted to buy that field to make a treehouse summer camp for urban kids, because he pictured kids who'd never really seen the stars or never really hopped along rocks alongside riverbeds or climbed in trees to come and experience God's love through community and through the nature and through the beauty of creation. He made a risky trade, and with that, he gained tremendous value. Not the kind of value the world always sees, but a value that changes lives for eternity. Maybe you need to make or thinking about a risky trade in your life. If so, come to this parable. Come and see.
Come and see how God is moving in this moment as we join together in a breath prayer. Begin by finding a comfortable seat, with your feet grounded on the floor. Maybe close your eyes or ground them softly toward the ground. Place one hand over your heart and one over your belly, or leave them open in your lap. Begin to draw attention to your breath, the inhales and the exhales. I invite you to allow the inhales to let you be open to receiving, and the exhales to allow you to let go of what is no longer serving you. Inhale, exhale. Inhale compassion. Exhale apathy. Inhale vulnerability. Exhale guardedness. Inhale hope. Exhale despair. Inhale courage. Exhale fear. Inhale confidence. Exhale self-doubt. Inhale playfulness. Exhale cynicism. Inhale wonder. Exhale jadedness. Inhale love. Exhale expectation. Come and see how the kingdom is being made new in you. Amen.
heavens is now advancing. Invade my heart, invade this broken town. The kingdom of the heavens is buried treasure. Would you sell yourself to buy the one you found? Two things you told me: you are strong and you love me. Yes, you